You know that feeling like our global problems are a game of whack-a-moles? We solve one, and bam, three more just pop right up. Well, today, we're going to explore a new framework that's designed to get us out of that reactive loop and into truly coherent, coordinated action. It's built around a concept called the synergy engine, and honestly, it proposes a radically new way to see and solve our problems. So, let's dive in. So, it all kicks off with this really big realization. The huge challenges we're all facing, climate disruption, social fragmentation, biodiversity loss, they aren't separate issues anymore. Nope. They've tangled themselves together into this single, super complex system where every problem just feeds the others. And here's the kicker. This is the crucial point. The old way of doing things, tackling problems in their own little silos, it's just not working. It's failing us. Our best efforts keep falling short because we're aiming at symptoms, not the deeply tangled system underneath. We are facing a totally new kind of challenge, and that means we need a completely new way of thinking. So here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we're going to unpack this idea of a polycrisis. Then we'll explore its antidote, something called optimized coherence. After that, we'll introduce the tool designed to make it happen, the synergy engine. See how it works, and finally, cast our eyes on the incredible vision it could enable, a truly regenerative civilization. All right, so first up, a world in polycrisis. It's a term you might be hearing more and more, and for a really good reason. It just perfectly nails the messy, interconnected reality that we are all trying to navigate right now.
The words you really got to focus on here are interact and feedback loops. See, a polycrisis isn't just about having a bunch of problems at once. Think of it like this. It's not just a storm and a flood happening at the same time. It's when the storm makes the flood way worse, which then knocks out the power grid, which then totally messes up supply chains. That domino effect, that's the signature of a polycrisis.
It's kind of like a giant, tangled ball of yarn. You can't just pull on one thread without making the knots in all the others even tighter. That is our new reality, and it means we absolutely cannot keep trying to untangle one thread at a time. We need a way to see and act on the whole system at once.
Okay, so if fragmentation and tangled messes are the problem, then what's the solution? Well, this framework proposes a really powerful antidote, a new principle for working together called optimized coherence.
Coherence is all about that state of deep alignment. It's when all the different parts of a system start humming together in perfect harmony. I mean, picture a world-class orchestra, right? Every single musician is a virtuoso, but what creates that breathtaking music is their coherence. They are perfectly aligned in timing, tone, and intention. That's the state we need to shoot for, but on a global scale. Now, what I love about this slide is how it takes this big, abstract idea and makes it totally recognizable. A shared mission? That's directional coherence. Coordinated strategies? That's operational coherence. But it goes deeper. This is about building the fundamental trust and teamwork, the relational coherence that we absolutely need to even start tackling something as massive as a global polycrisis. And this quote just nails the payoff. To put it really simply, coherence is the setup, but synergy is the superpower it unlocks. It's that amazing multiplying effect that lets a group achieve things no single person ever could. It's how we make 1 + 1 = 100. Which, of course, leads us to the big question. How in the world do we actually create this coherence on a global scale? Well, let's introduce the operational tool designed to do exactly that, the synergy engine. Okay, and it's so important to get this. This is not just another project management app. Think about how the internet created a whole new infrastructure for information. The synergy engine is imagined as that same kind of fundamental infrastructure, but for coordination and for collective intelligence. It's the missing piece that could help us see the whole system, find our alignment within it, and make sense of all this complexity together. This slide really captures the huge paradigm shift this is all about. We're talking about a move from celebrating these little pockets of isolated brilliance to unlocking true collective effectiveness, from being trapped in a cycle of just reacting and fighting fires to proactively adapting to what's on the horizon. And maybe, most importantly, from competing over scraps to becoming synergistic stewards of our shared future. So how does this engine actually work? What are the nuts and bolts? Well, its whole design is meant to operationalize coordination in a way that enables a totally fascinating natural phenomenon, swarm intelligence. So at its heart, the synergy engine has a few core jobs. It's integrating knowledge, it's matching opportunities, incubating projects, mapping out the whole system. But maybe the most critical pieces are building a trust infrastructure, that's the social bedrock for everything, and then using that to coordinate this thing called swarm intelligence. So what exactly is swarm intelligence? It's an incredible idea. It's that almost magical moment when a network of people becomes so interconnected and so aligned that the group itself gets smarter, more creative, and more capable than any single person in it could ever be. Solutions don't get handed down from the top. They literally emerge from all the interactions. And this image, wow, it's just the perfect metaphor. Think about a murmuration of starlings. It's breathtaking, right? There's no single bird in charge, no central commander shouting orders. And yet, the entire flock moves as one, creating these beautiful, complex patterns with this fluid, instant, responsive coordination. That is the kind of decentralized, emergent problem-solving the Synergy engine wants to unlock for all of us. All right, let's pull back for the big picture here. What's the ultimate goal? What kind of world could this level of coherence actually create? Well, the vision is nothing short of a regenerative civilization. The long-term outcomes here are, well, they're profound. By building this capacity for coherence, we could shift from just reacting to actually anticipating, which would dramatically reduce systemic risk. We could see collective intelligence bubble up on a planetary scale, and, I think most importantly, we could finally begin to align our human systems with the ecological systems we all depend on and truly reharmonize our relationship with nature itself. What we're talking about here is a fundamental shift in our role on this planet. Instead of just being firefighters, running around constantly trying to manage the latest crisis, we could become conscious stewards, like active, caring gardeners of the complex living systems that sustain all of us. When you really get down to it, what's being described here is a kind of maturation for our entire species. It's a transition from an extractive adolescent phase, where we just took whatever we wanted without thinking about the consequences, to a regenerative adulthood, where we finally take responsibility for the well-being of the whole. It's a pretty profound way to think about this moment in history, isn't it? And that brings us to the final and maybe the most powerful takeaway. The argument here isn't that we have to wait for some futuristic technology to save us. It's that the tools, the knowledge, the incredible human potential, it's all already here. The final ingredient, the one thing that can unlock everything else, is simply our collective will and our courage to truly finally work together.